Hello and welcome to this lecture, which is an introduction to British Parliamentary. I'm Elliot Jones. I'm going to be chatting you through this lecture. My apologies in advance. It is not the most interesting and thrilling lecture. I'm just going to be chatting you through kind of how a debate functions, kind of what's its format, how long do you speak for, kind of all these things that are maybe unfamiliar to you if you've never debated in British Parliamentary before. So it is really important that you listen to it. It is really important that you understand it. But I promise that you, in future lectures, I will do more interesting stuff about how to win debates and how to make great arguments. But for this one, bear with me. Let's jump into it. Okay, so this is all of the speakers in the debate. But what I'm going to get you to do to make it a little bit simpler while I teach you is just focus on this first half here. This is called the opening bench in debate. Okay, so there's two sides. In the red, you've got government, which is the side that is supporting it, which is the side that is proposing it. They are going to be in support of whatever the motion is. So if the motion is this house would ban smoking, they're very pro banning smoking. They think that's the best thing that could happen. So you've got two people on that team. And then on the flip side, you've got the opposition team. And the opposition team, their job is to oppose whatever the motion is. So once again, let's say we're doing this house would ban smoking. They think that banning smoking would be a net harm and it would do a lot of bad, is generally what they're trying to prove. Those are the ones in pink. There are two people on each team, and if we focus on it like this, it's very nice and simple. There's two people that say we should do this thing, and there's two people that say we shouldn't do this thing. And they debate, and they try to prove those things. Okay. Then there's the closing half. The closing half, in the dark green, we've got closing government. These guys are also saying that we should support the motion. And on the flip side, you've got closing opposition, which is saying that we shouldn't support the motion. So you might think that they're exactly identical to their opening benches. That's not quite the case, because these teams are all actually competing with each other. So how that happens is you're trying to, on closing government, present arguments that are different from your opening government in red. So they could be new arguments. You could be fixing up their arguments. There's lots of different ways you can do that, and we'll cover that in more full depth during our lecture on extension arguments. So don't worry if you don't know how to do that yet. But you provide broadly new arguments that contribute a lot to the debate. Okay, so now you know all the speakers. You'd obviously go through in the order listed there, nice and easy. So you'd have the Prime Minister at first, and then the Leader of Opposition at second, and then Deputy Prime Minister, Deputy Leader of Opposition, etc., as you move down through the number of speakers. Okay, let's chat about how this structure fits into an overall debate. What does the debate look like? What are the things you're going to have to do when you go to your very first tournament, your very first practice debate? Okay, so what you're going to do first is you're going to find out which one of these sides you're on. So you're going to be on opening government, let's say. That means that you're going to be supporting the motion, and you don't have to worry about coming up with new arguments that are different. You just have to come up with whatever arguments you think are the best to win the debate. Then you're going to get the motion. The motion could be a plethora of things. It could be anything from international relations, economics, it could be business related, as many Babson students cross their fingers for, but it could be a range of things from the arts to literature. And once you've got that motion, you're going to go into your prep room and you're going to prep what you think are the best arguments for it if you're on the government side, or against it if you're on the opposition side. You have 15 minutes to do that, which may seem like a very short amount of time, but don't worry. We will help you develop very good prep time structures that'll help you work through this and build very good cases in this time. Then we come to the debate where each speaker gets 7 minutes to speak. So the Prime Minister will go first, and then you'll move through all the different speakers. You're capped at 7 minutes. If you get to 7:15, I encourage you to sit down, because otherwise the judge will get upset and they'll generally begin to clap, and it doesn't look good for you if you're still standing up talking once your time's up. Additionally, I'd flag for you that lots of new debaters get very concerned by this 7 minutes, because they're like, oh, 7 minutes, that's such a long time to be up there for. And don't worry, I thought the exact same thing when I first started debating. But don't worry. In time, after you've done, 4 or 5 debates, maybe, you will be cursing the 7 minute time frame, and you'll be like, oh, I wish I had more time to talk. So we'll help you develop out speeches that fill that time, and you'll be more than capable of filling that with time. But don't stress if you can't fill it at the start, because almost no one does. Then finally, once all of the 8 speakers, the 4 teams, have given their speeches, you'll get the judge. They'll take a moment, they'll make a judgment, and they'll come back to you with who's won the debate. Perfect. How is closing a little bit different? I think I like to flag this, and I already kind of have earlier in this lecture. But broadly, what you're looking at is that your content must be different, and what you're aiming to do is maximize your contribution in the debate. What does that mean? So when you're trying to maximize contribution, you are trying to do the most to win the debate for your team. So when you make your arguments, if they have helped your team, your government side, win the debate, and they have done the most to win the debate, then that means that you've made very, very good arguments, and you'll probably get the win. We're going to chat way more about this later, and hopefully it will become significantly less confusing. But in the meantime, I thought I would just flag it for you for new debaters, because often people are confused by it. Another common question I get is, which speaker role should I be? Because on any team, you have the person who speaks first and the person who speaks second, and they have different roles that we will discuss what the responsibilities of and the role fulfillment is later in other lectures. But people are like, oh, I don't actually know which one I should be. And I would tell you that no one really does. The truth is, you just have to give it a go. You have to give them a try, see which one fits you best. You may think one fits you best at the beginning, and you may transfer to one later at the end. But regardless, learning them both is a really good skill that will make you a better debater. So I wouldn't stress too much about it. But if you really do want it, because generally I'll tell that to debaters and they'll tell me, oh, that's not really an answer, Elliot. So I'll give them the real answer, which is a little bit of guidance. So if you're going to be a first speaker, which is the PM, the LO, the member speeches, that's more about building a core case argument. It's building a very structured, linear speech. You'll get the benefits of prep time generally if you're an opening government or opening opposition. And that is about building the arguments for why this case is good. The second speakers, your DPMs, your DLOs, your whip speakers, they're a bit more adapt on the fly, and they do something called rebuttal. We'll chat about what rebuttal is in a later lecture, but pretty much it's saying, why is what the other team's saying not true, not relevant, and why is what we have to say very important and true, and defending your own case. So these ones are a bit more improvising on the fly, seeing how things fit together. Lots of people who do these roles say that they're infinitely more exciting, but they can be a little bit more challenging to start with. I personally am a first speaker. I tend to be PM, LO, member speeches, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. You will find your niche, and we can definitely chat to you at trainings about what we think you would best fit into as a role. But just give it a go. You'll work it out as you go. Okay, where to from here? Normally at the ends of these lectures, I would tell you to go and practice. But the problem is, what we've actually covered is not something that's very practicable. We've just covered when you speak and how long you speak and things like this, which is immensely boring. So thank you very much for staying and sitting through this lecture. But of course, I'm sure you want to speak well so you can win, which is what we actually spend most of our time teaching you, which is, I recommend you go and watch our lecture on substantives. I recommend you go watch our lecture on rebuttal. I recommend that you go watch our talk on extension speeches. They're all very similar, short videos like this. That'll teach you these kind of 3 core basic skills. And frankly, I think if you can have these 3 things down, you can walk into a debate confidently knowing that you're going to give a good speech. There's obviously lots of room to develop beyond these things, but once you've got these down, I really think you've nailed the basics. So thank you very much for tuning in. So go watch these if you're interested. But that's the end of this lecture. So thank you very much. And if you're interested in finding out when our trainings are, you can find that on our Instagram account. They also have some funny content on there, because I trust my head of social media to be infinitely more entertaining and funny than myself. It won't be as dull as this lecture, I promise. And hopefully we actually see you at our Tuesday and Thursday trainings, because those are so much better than these videos, because I can actually talk to you, answer your questions. We have lots of great debaters who will be willing to help you become a really, really good debater. But I hope this lecture's filled you in. I hope you feel a little bit more confident about the BP format. And I wish you all the very best for your future debating. Thank you very much. And that's Babson Debate Union signing out.